The Pinball Network is online. Launching
Pinball Innovators and Makers Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Pinball Podcast focused on the innovators and makers who are crafting homebrew, custom, and rethemed pinball machines, the technology that makes these personal projects possible, and the companies helping with these journeys. Custom pinballs are a deeply personal and technically challenging undertaking, requiring time, money, knowledge, and most importantly, the desire to make it happen. I'm Dan Rosenstein, your host. Join me, and let's go under the playfield and see what's needed to make a custom pinball possible. Welcome, Pinball Innovators and Makers. We've made it to episode 5, and I'm humbled and honored for all the positive feedback and encouragement that you've given me. Please continue to reach out at northwestpinballdan@gmail.com and let me know what you think. My goal is to publish one episode about every 4 weeks and keep them under an hour. Due to spring breaks and other scheduling reasons, we've got a special bonus episode 5 right now. Let's go under the playfield with a family affair.
All right, so today on the podcast, I've got Mike and his sons Cameron and Lucas. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into the podcast and the interview.
All right, I guess I'll start. I'm Mike Mandola. I'm the dad here, I guess. Started out playing pinball when I was probably, 10, 12 years old. I remember playing a lot of Terminator 2. Had about a 30-year hiatus when I didn't even know pinball existed anymore until we rediscovered it at the Pinball Gallery in Pennsylvania a few years ago. And since then, got really involved, bought our first couple machines. We've now probably had, I think, a total of 30 machines in and out of the house, and it's driving everybody a little nuts, but it's a hobby that we really fell in love with. I'm actually a molecular biologist by training, and I do drug development, and this is just like our fun side hobby. So why don't we go in age order?
I'm Lucas. I'm his oldest son, and I've been really enjoying pinball ever since he took us to Pinball Arcade, and I was like, what is this? This is not video games. And I've just enjoyed it ever since, racking up the GCs.
We're a little competitive here.
Just a little. I'm Cameron. I'm the youngest son. I got into pinball, when we went to that arcade. He brought us to the Pinball Arcade. And then our first 2 games were Guardians and Deadpool, and I loved Guardians, and it's just one of my favorite games. And then Iron Maiden got me into the band, and it's just an amazing game. So I've been playing those a lot.
That's actually pretty funny. A couple things on that. Like, I didn't like AC/DC much at all until I started playing the AC/DC table, and now like my daughter walks around singing AC/DC, and she's 11. So I can relate to that story. I'm super glad that you said that. So quick question on this. Like, the standard view is like, kids don't like pinball, they like video games. Like, what is it about pinball that draws you two in? Lucas, Cameron, you can choose who answers that.
Well, I kind of think the difficulty of it is what draws it to me. Just the fact that you can, especially some of these harder games, like we recently had Simpsons, like you don't ever think you'll be able to beat it. And then if someone does, it's like this huge accomplishment. I remember we had one of our friends over, and he got to run to the hills in Iron Maiden, and it was this huge thing.
That was Brian. Shout out to Brian. That Run to the Hills day. That was an epic day. We'll never forget it.
And was that the last time he was invited to your house?
Yes,
it was.
Yes.
It was.
How about you, Cam?
I kind of feel like what he said. Like, just the more you play it, you just start to play it more, and then you find a game that you really like, and you just play it nonstop. And some of the wizard modes is just so satisfying to get. King of the Monsters on Godzilla. Whew. It was amazing.
He made it. We play with loose tilt bobs, and they're both death saving now. So I make sure that we have
King of the Monsters.
Your machines behind you are a little bit close to be death saving on. So
that's very true.
You death save on other people's machines is what I'm hearing. So you clearly got a good little competitive family going on here. It's a good that it's a family affair. Is there anybody else in the household that plays as well, or is it's the three of you?
Mainly the three of us.
But Mom comes down and plays Wonka and Stranger Things. Those are the things that keep us in business. She's like, as long as they don't leave the house, you can keep doing what you're doing. But if you ever try to trade or sell one of those, then pinball's over for you. Mom plays, and then we have cousins and aunts and uncles that live nearby. They love to play, and I've got some really, really good local friends: Brian, Dan, Jay, Adam, Mark, and Joe. Those are like my boys. We're texting all the time. We're keeping each other updated on the news and kind of speeding each other up on trades and sales and that kind of thing.
That's awesome. And they have pinball machines as well then?
They do. Okay. Yeah. And we sometimes trade with each other. We'll do temporary trades, all kinds of fun stuff.
That's awesome. It's great to hear that like the kids are getting into it, the family is all into it. Like you guys have some clearly fun, healthy competition. And then you've got, friends and extended friends all part. Like the fact that you're building a community is absolutely awesome. One more general question about the pinball. Do you guys play on location in tournaments, or is it really like it's between the number of machines that you guys have and that your friends have, that's enough for everybody, and then the occasional arcade?
Well, we haven't played in any tournaments yet. I really want to, but I think we just
too.
haven't gotten around to it.
Mhm.
And I think our collection is more than fine at the moment, just
Yeah.
to play all day.
Look, the fact that you always have at least two other people to compete with is pretty awesome. I would definitely encourage you to go play some tournaments. I was collecting for 12, 13 years before I played my first tournament just a couple months back, and I had a great time. So I came in dead last, but that doesn't matter. So all right. So we're here to talk about pinball and more specifically to get under the playfield and talk about the custom homebrew that you three are building. It's a pretty awesome story that it's not just the dad, but it's the dad and the sons that are building it together. And I'm super excited about that. Like I've been a huge proponent of STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. I coach robotics here in Washington. I've been on the board for robotics as well out here, and so the stuff runs for high school robotics, I should say, or all grades. How did you guys get involved in soldering and 3D printing and pinball design? Like where did it come from playing to getting under the play field? Like that's the core of where I want to start. Lucas, why don't we start with you?
Well, I kind of think it all just happened. Like we weren't anticipating any of it really, especially like with 3D printing. I almost got it just for my own personal use and then was like, wow, you can actually make so many mods, like endless possibilities. As far as soldering goes, that was mainly just like with our first couple machines, the first things break and you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? And Dad was like, oh, I got to get a soldering iron now. So
I got to watch some YouTube videos and get really sweaty.
Okay, Cameron, how about you? What would you add to that?
Well, yeah, I feel like it was mostly just the games, having other games, and the 3D printer we just got for fun on Christmas. It was just fun to have, just build stuff, and now turned into homebrew stuff.
So when I dogged my dad for a few years before I finally got my first pinball machine. I got an F-14 Tomcat, my cousin got a space station. We got them the same day. Both those are in my collection now. I've said that on the podcast previously. The reason I'm telling you this is my dad told me, I'm buying you the machine, but if it ever breaks down, then you're paying to have it fixed. And my dad's an engineer. And I was really like looking back on it, it was kind of a weird thing for him to say. Like I would have thought he would have said, you're grabbing a soldering iron and fixing it. So Mike, I gotta applaud you. The fact that like when your machine started to break down, you were like, you two gotta fix this. Like we're not paying a tech to come out here is pretty awesome. And so that was the spark right there. You had to fix the machine, you had to keep it going. And you had two people, you had a whole labor force to go do the work. So Cameron, why don't you tell me like where the design started to come from? Where did the idea for first of all, what's the theme? 1, 2, 3, say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Overwatch, exactly, which goes back to the video game so we were talking about earlier. And so back to the question I was saying. So with Overwatch, where did the theme come from? Was it from you? Was it from your brother? Was it from your dad? All three of you?
Well, it's like it was just a game that all three of us already loved, and it was just really fun because I play on Switch and they play on Xbox, so we can play together. So we just love to play. We've been playing it for what, like 3 or 4 years now?
Or more than that.
Yeah, we've been playing it for so long. We just loved it. It's like one of our favorite video games. So
that's awesome. Do either of you have anything to add, or that's pretty much it?
Yeah, well, I remember specifically it was the first game that I got on my Xbox. And I remember telling my dad about it. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty fun. He was like, maybe I'll get it too and play with you. And we've just been playing nonstop ever since. Countless, days of in-game times.
So there's clearly a family love for Overwatch, okay? Can each of you go take whatever order you want and just say, like, if there's one thing you had to put your finger on that you love about Overwatch, what is it?
I think it's the variety of characters. There's different characters for each scenario. They all have their own abilities, and just mastering one character takes so long, but it's really rewarding and fun when you get good at the game, I think.
Yeah, and I think the depth of each character and their storylines is really cool, and that's also why we thought it would lend itself really well to a pinball machine. Each shot can have a character associated with it, something like that. You can have perks and all that kind of thing. And we did debate theme a little bit. We had a couple of other ideas like Lego Movie or Lego Batman.
Wait, I think we have a visitor in the back. I think we have a guest appearance right behind you.
Oh, there's Mom.
Is that Mom? Does she only go by Mom, or does she go by
That's Jen.
name? Jen, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Dan.
Hi.
Hey, so now we truly have the whole family affair. So Jen, you're more than welcome to be on this. I want you to hold the three of them honest about what they say. I don't want any incorrect answers. We're talking about where the theme came from. So Cameron, you hadn't gone yet. You were talking. There were some other themes as well.
Oh, well, yeah, it was like, because I love Legos too, and Lego movies, like a cool theme, but I feel like Overwatch really works, just like all the modes you could put in and just how it would work with a pinball machine.
So what were some of the other themes that the family got together, had a round table and decided these are not the theme, but this, we're going to go with Overwatch. What was on the cutting room floor?
Well, there was like a Lego or like the Lego movie theme,
Yep.
just like one of the two. And then also, I'm obsessed with Iron Maiden, and we had the pinball machine. So we were debating if we wanted to do another one, but we decided Overwatch would work better.
Totally.
And
All
that
right.
was it.
Yeah, I think that was about it.
Yeah.
In my head, I had like Die Hard and the Beastie Boys in my head, but I don't think that'll be like when they go to college. Maybe I'll do that.
Now I'm going to go. You've opened the door, so I'm going to walk right through it. Is it all Beastie Boys? Were you just going to do Paul, or were you just going to do License to Ill? How are you going to do it?
Probably just License to Ill.
I was betting that was going to be the answer. That's absolutely the correct answer. As inappropriate as it might be, I would love to see Girls Multi-Ball. That would be the place to go. All right, so moving along. So talk to me about the design process that you've chosen. Everybody does this different. Some start all the way in CAD, as Kyle, my first interviewer, did. Others go, absolutely head first, as others have, as Ernie has. And so tell me, where you guys went and how you started. How do you start the process?
Well, we started with a notebook that Cameron had.
Yeah.
And so actually Cameron pushed this whole thing. Like, we all love pinball. He kept talking about homebrew, and I kept saying, no way, that's way too much time. I got a full-time job. You guys go to school, But as we did a little research, we realized, okay, there's a lot of resources out there, and if we dedicated a little bit of time each week, we probably could pull it off. So I said, all right, if you're serious about it, get a notebook and do some sketches. So he started it, and I think it was pretty cool, right? You took a few shots. Well, we all collaborated on taking different shots from games that we love and kind of blending them together. So I don't know, you want to tell them a little bit about some of the shots, like starting from the left, maybe, where they came from?
Well, we needed drops because I love when it's like side drops. Like on Deadpool, it has like 4 drops on each side. So we just decided to do 3 drops like on each side, right above the slings. So that I felt like we needed. And then we have one of the virtual pinball games on the Xbox, and there's this Age of Ultron game, and it has this scoop in the middle that's like a curve. So I just wanted that. I thought it was cool. And then
Yeah, the left orbit is, what is it, from Stranger Things? Yep, it goes all the way around to the right ramp. We love that shot. It's so like buttery smooth.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, and the layout, the ramps also kind of are a little bit like Stranger Things, more like Attack from Mars, kind of. Yeah.
So we got some Iron Maiden in there, some Jurassic Park, a couple little bits of everything. Sorry, go ahead.
That's awesome. And it's actually really cool that you spent the time playing multiple different machines, as part of the process of rotating them in and out, like getting experience and like really sitting down and sketching out. And I've seen pictures of the notebook. It's pretty awesome. And I mean, no offense in how I say this, but it looks like a student or a kid like work through it, and it's awesome how great it looks. Like it's not some some senior thesis in college that was presented. It was like this came straight from somebody's mind and wrote down on paper and then scratched out, and another version was made. It really is awesome. And so then you had all these different ideas for from all these different games. Now it's not like a Lego set where you just take the pieces and put it together. So how did you work through the designs and the design of the shots so all of those different elements could work together?
Well, I think the shots themselves, well, we didn't really know if they would work. And then really just getting it on the whitewood and testing them out, and we were like, wow, these actually work really well. We had very low expectations coming in because we just kind of threw it all together from all these different games, and it really just ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah, I think one of the big things was we took the notebook and then we went to Staples and we got some of the big white paper. So, and then we cut out a piece that was exactly to scale. We measured using some of our machines, the lower third, so got that out of the way. And then we just started taking measurements from different machines we had. We went online, did some measurements, and we just used a ruler and paper, colored pencils. Like, we haven't done anything. I know a lot of people use visual pinball. We haven't done that. We've just done it all like by hand using a ruler and, in the old school, I think. And then once we got to the whitewood, we started having to tweak and move things a little bit.
The one thing we wanted like a second orbit into the pops, but there wasn't room, so then we just added like a hole that'll fall into the pops.
That's pretty cool. So it goes up and then down. That's sweet. So you mentioned a ruler. Was a protractor ever pulled out, or we didn't go that far? Like we left it at ruler.
We have a protractor. It's just collecting dust there.
So one of the interesting parts about your journey, in addition to the three of you working together, being a family affair, is that you also have leveraged the work that others have done to help you get bootstrapped. And with that, you've also been progressing very, very quickly. You mentioned a couple hours a week. I want to come back to the time commitment, but talk to me about where you got parts, where you got equipment, talk to me about that portion of it.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, that was actually one of the reasons why we even started, because initially I kept saying, there's no way, we don't have time. I don't have that kind of skill either, even though I know how to solder, I don't have heavy equipment. I don't know how to do coding and technology, and that sort of stuff is a little bit over my head. But I did a little research, and I came across Ernie Silverberg and Trident Pinball and his League of Legends homebrew, and read up a bit, was in contact with him, and then I noticed he started making these kind of like homebrew starter kits. And there was a couple guys that I already knew on Pinside that actually started doing their own homebrews with the kit, so I kind of knew it was legit. And there's this guy Mudflaps making this Friday the 13th kit, which is awesome. So he and I talk a lot. So he gave me the confidence. I went ahead, made the decision and bought a starter kit from Ernie, and it's been awesome because he sent us the whitewood, a lot of the starting materials we need, including the fast pinball controller, helped already pre-configured the PC, the Mission Pinball framework. So he probably saved me 100 hours. Yep. And if I hadn't had that kit, we probably never would have started the whole thing, to be honest.
And the cool thing is Aaron Davis also with Fast, who the fact that Fast the Fast controllers are there, the fact that Ernie gets you started. But the great thing about both of those guys is that they're like the friendliest people on earth. So you ask them for help and they give you whatever help, regardless of whether you bought something from them or not. Obviously if you buy something, they enjoy that, but they're in this for the community. And the fact that, you're living and breathing, you were able to leverage those 100 hours of investment that you would have had to do. And who knows, it might have even been more than 100, because how many mistakes have you made along the way that you're building on top of? So that's pretty awesome. So you got the whitewood with the lower third, you got the control system from Fast. You also got a cabinet flat, right? Or you're getting a cabinet flat.
Yeah, Ernie's making flat packs that are to the stern kind of dimensions, and we love all of our machines, but we tend to really gravitate towards the stern style, and we all discussed that we wanted a stern style. So we're gonna, through Pinball Life, we've been buying all of our parts. We're gonna continue to get them. Hopefully, so that we can kind of make that cabinet, paint it, and get it all set up in a kind of stern fashion. And we've got a really cool art update too that we haven't really told anybody about yet.
What I saw on Pinside some mention that you have a pinball artist. I don't know if that's what you're teeing up right now, but is this related to that?
Yeah, so probably the one thing that stressed us out the most was like, how are we going to do the playfield art? It just seemed very complicated. Lucas uses Adobe Illustrator. I know Adobe Photoshop, but we're not artists, and we're like, if we're going to go to all this trouble, it's got to look good.
Yeah.
So I follow Brian Allen on Instagram, and I saw that he did a homebrew for Breaking Bad.
Yep.
And we had a couple of his translates from Cactus Canyon Attack from Mars. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, would you be interested in collaborating with us on this? And he said, yeah, sure. Here's my prices. And he was really great about it. And we had a little negotiation. And so Brian Allen is going to do our playfield cabinet translate art for us. So we're super excited.
That is I had no idea that's absolutely amazing. You know what, one of the best pinball artists. Is he going to be doing your plastics as well? I didn't hear you say that.
We haven't gotten to that level of detail yet, but so far where we're at is, we've got a Dropbox set up. So he's like, hey, I don't know. He's like, I got to download Overwatch, play some Overwatch. So he's going to start doing that, familiarize himself with the characters. And then we threw some images into different folders for each of the characters. So he can kind of, see like what versions of those characters we like the look of. And, eventually we'll start getting into the details of, having that all laid out. But what we want to do next is we're really close to having the whitewood, I hope, be final. Lucas is then going to plug it into Adobe Illustrator, which he really is a whiz on after, technology, graphic design class in high school. So he's going to make it to scale Adobe Illustrator file that we'll use both to get the CNC cut of our next whitewood, but also to send to Brian Allen so he's got an idea of the layout.
Are you going to have Trident Pinball do the next CNC cut of the playfield, or are you going to be doing that locally?
Yeah, I think we're going to do that too. I mean, Ernie's been great, and I figured I'd rather support his business and then go find a local woodworker here.
It's actually pretty awesome that, like, in addition to the community pieces and how helpful he is, the fact that he's like willing to cut you however many whitewoods you want is he went through 9 whitewoods before he got to he said that on the podcast a little while ago. You also, so I'm super happy for the artwork. That is absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to see it. So I'll definitely keep following there. You also got some ramps, as others have, from Ramp-O-Matic. How did you end up using those ramps?
Yeah, so we were really debating how and where to get them, and we wanted to do something just unique, So like initially I was like, oh, why don't we just get some old Attack from Mars ramps? But we wanted to do something different. And I read about Ramp-O-Matic. I'd never used them before. And there's just, hundreds of ramps from all these really cool old games. Some of them are colored. So we kind of just sifted through and we were like, okay, we need a left ramp with a half curve. And so we probably bought a couple extra ramps that we didn't wind up using, but that's fine. Yeah. And, but it was really cool to just be able to kind of customize our game using this variety from Ramp-O-Matic that represents, decades of different pinball machines from all these different eras. So that was really cool.
Right. So I want to talk wire forms for a little bit. Who's been the one bending and figuring out the layout of the wire forms?
So we started, you want to tell them how we started, maybe what we used to start with?
Yeah, so we did use the actual plastic on the ramp that we got from Ramp-O-Matic. And then we knew we wanted wire forms because we all just love the feel of the metal ramps. So we used foam board. We just used painter's tape and foam board, cut holes, just cut it on the sides, and then attach those to the ramps for when we just had on the piece of paper, basically.
Yep.
That was pre-whitewood, and then we've been watching the Pinball Room YouTube videos where Steve is building his machine. So we downloaded some of his free 3D print files, and we ordered some steel rods on Amazon, and so that was our next iteration, although those fell apart. So then I contacted just through pinballmakers.com Matt Galden, who's the rolling ball sculptures, and we shipped him essentially. we just did a to scale drawing of the wire forms that we wanted based on the foam work that we did. And Matt did an amazing job one weekend
it was
fabricating those for us, and they fit great. And eventually, once it's all finalized, we want to have them chrome plated or powder coated, and like we're going like the full 9 on this. This is going to be an LE.
Look, if you're gonna build one, you got to build an LE. Like it's gonna take place of one of your prized possession machines behind you, unless you're gonna be building more space for it. So you might as well get an LE or build an LE.
There's always more room.
there is more room. Eventually you'll run out.
Yes.
So the big toy in the center, why don't you either Cameron or Lucas, whoever picked that one, why don't you talk about what it is and where it came from?
Oh, so there's this one character in Overwatch. It's Diva. She has like this huge mech, and she's like one of the main characters in the game, like that they showcase the most. So there's Funko Pops that are basically, they have like iterations of everything out of Funko Pops. And then they made like a special giant one for the Diva mech from Overwatch. So we got that, and it's going to go right above the scoop in the game as like the big toy.
That's absolutely awesome. And then I was looking at pictures online, and I didn't realize it, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. Does it look like it actually opens up? Like there's a little person or little figure inside? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens up, and then the little pop head goes inside.
Now, are you going to do something with the fact that there's a mechanism there, or like nothing there?
I was saying like maybe once we're like finished everything, we could add like a little pulley and it would open up at the super jackpot or something.
Yeah, we're going to need some work on that one.
It's really funny, Cameron. You're looking at me, but when you said yes, the other two said no. So you're going to clearly have to play some games to figure out whether you're good to do it or not. I like your idea about the pulley. Or use a solenoid or something. It would, like, I saw it in one of the pictures, and I was like, wow, that would make an actual pretty cool like place for the hole for the ball to get locked, similar to how it is on Rush. Like put a magnet there, have it locked. I mean, you're doing your own design, so you don't need me telling ideas for it.
Great idea. Yeah.
So we're all busy with our lives. It's awesome that you've really stood on the shoulders of giants, the rest of the community. You're clearly giving credit to them, which is awesome. And the fact that you gained the confidence to go down this journey, go onto the play field, actually, go and build your own pinball machine is awesome. The fact that you're doing it as a family is awesome. How do you make the time? Like you had, you said as long as we do it a couple hours a week, how do you manage busy schedules? Like how are you making it happen?
Well, to be honest with you, we're kind of just finding the time. I think, we're all very busy, sports, drama club, everything pretty much. I'm in high school, I have a lot of clubs, and it's really just at night, if I can find a little time with either of them, we can go work on something, or we really just look at it as what's the next thing we could bang out on this next thing to finish the night, and then, trying to find time from there.
Yeah. And I think on any given day, 2 of us is tired.
Yeah.
But if one of us has a little energy, like last night, Cameron and I, who usually have the energy, we were exhausted, and Lucas is like, let's get that scoop in there. Come on, guys. So we got the scoop in, and then we wound up just doing 3 or 4 more things, and until we ran out of parts. We actually were only limited by, we ran out of screws. So we placed a Pinball Life order urgent, priority mail.
You think that it's running out of space for the pinball machines? No, it's actually running out of parts to build stuff.
Yeah, we're doing it too quickly. Need more parts.
Well, that's a great problem to have, is what I would say. So, like you've got a good journey ahead of you that and it's awesome. Like you get, for every hour you get to spend here, you're spending time with your kids, which is awesome. And it seems like you two enjoy spending time with dad. So that's awesome as well. It's good to see such a strong relationship there, and brothers as well. Like you haven't fought a single time on this call. So we'll
right after.
That's fair. So what are the 3 of you trying to get out of it? Like what do you see? Like you've got a journey ahead of you, but what do you see as the end of that journey? What do you want to, at the at some point in the future, look back and say what?
Well, he was actually talking about maybe bringing it to an expo. That's where I kind of envision the end, is having other people play it and give us feedback on it and really enjoy the game. I think that's the end goal for me. And
So I think you just said you're going to see me at Expo is what I just heard, right?
That's right. Yeah, we'll have to figure out which one, but that's definitely the goal.
Oh, Chicago Expo. That's the place to be. Like, you know, yeah.
I'm hoping we can get it done by then.
Yeah.
I mean, a version of it.
You got till October. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Yeah, obviously just impress people. Just be amazing. But I just feel like it'll be cool to learn like a little bit more about like, because obviously we're not like building the coils and stuff, but we're like soldering, and we're learning some of the mechanics of it. Like I never knew how a coil worked until like a few weeks ago. So we're just learning about that stuff. So it's cool.
That's look, there's no better way to learn than applied science. Like the fact that you're actually building something, it's great that you're taking away that knowledge. Has working on the machine actually sparked an interest in engineering, technical stuff that you didn't know, or did you have it before and it's expanding it? Like you didn't think about this before I said it, like what?
Yeah, well, I think I always kind of took an interest in like seeing how things work, but this has really made me, be like, because you're building it from the ground up, you're seeing exactly everything that's going into it, everything that's making it work. And I think it's really interesting, just like how much goes into a pinball machine and how, they're mass produced. It's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you can.
Well, yeah, I feel like I've always loved building things, but I was never really like that involved in like engineering and like actual technology. So I think it's cool to just learn more about that, because then I guess I could just do more, because I've always just loved building stuff just randomly. So
go ahead, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You had mentioned earlier the Lego movie and the Lego theme. So clearly you grew up playing Legos, or building with Legos, I should say. Or Lego, so nobody corrects me on that. Do you prefer to build the sets as designed, or do you prefer just like go into creative mode?
Oh, well, I do both, kind of, because a lot of the times when I like get a set that's like themed or something, I really like that theme, and usually the set is cool. So I just do both sometimes. Like sometimes I'll just want to make something that I just thought of, and sometimes I just want to build what's already there. So
once a year you have a ritual now with your cousin over Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Tell them about that.
Yeah. My cousin, she also loves Lego, and they live like really close by, like 2 minutes away. So I guess it's a tradition now that like every Christmas break, because she gets back from college for Christmas, so we just get together and just spend like a few days just building Legos. We built this giant thing this year.
Well, and they like lock themselves in a room and no one's allowed to see it for like 3 days, and then they come with this like planet they created. I mean, very creative stuff, really cool stuff.
That's awesome. Lucas, what about you? Did you build with Lego as well, or not?
I did. I was always more of a like build it how it's supposed to be built. I think I was never more the creative side. I was always like, I'm spending my money on this cool thing I want to see in my room.
Well, tell them what you just built too. That's relevant in your room. What? Did I build a PC?
Oh yeah, yeah. I just built my first PC, so.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I always wanted a computer, and we were talking about, maybe getting a pre-built, but I was like, maybe I'll just do this. So I spent, a couple weeks researching, bought all the parts, and spent a whole day building it. And I was actually like super surprised that it booted. I was like, wow, this is a miracle.
But how did you, the cool story is how he got the PC, right? Because he wanted it for a few years and we kept telling him no, because he wanted other things.
Yeah, okay.
But he actually got it as part of the pinball machine budget, because we needed a PC to do the coding and all that. So I was like, all right, you know what? If we're doing this, we need a PC, because we have a Mac, and we're like, we need to run some of these programs on a PC. So I said, all right, we're going to roll it into the pinball machine budget. You're going to build yourself a PC, and then you have to do the coding.
Oh, it was a win-win situation for me.
Well, yeah,
no downside.
I just heard that a Mac wasn't good enough to do the creative work necessary, where a PC was needed. And I also heard that this was an expense for the pinball business.
We expensed it.
That is,
well, there's certain programs though, but there's certain programs that there's no Mac version. Like I think Visual Pinball, there's no Mac version. So I was like, man, we need a PC now.
I was like, I've been saying this for years, and now we're building a homebrew. Now we have time to build a PC.
So I've got a good handle that Dad Mike, he's got a circle of friends who are all into pinball. What about you, Lucas and Cameron? Like, have you told your friends that you're building a pinball machine, or like is it a secret? What do they think of it if you have to? I'm not saying you should keep it a secret. I just don't know what you guys have done. So like, tell me about your friends. Have they seen the machine? Like, are you going to do a big reveal? What how are you approaching it?
Well, our friends know about, our current lineup. They don't, well, at least my friends don't specifically know about the homebrew, because I feel like a lot of them aren't into pinball as much, or they don't know what it is enough to, kind of care as much as we do. But, that's definitely something I'll tell them about when we're finished. I think it's really cool. How about you?
Yeah, my friends know about the pinball machines too. Like, I have them over a lot. But I don't think I told anyone about the homebrew. I have two friends that also like love Overwatch. So I feel like I might have told them, but I'm not sure. But I'll definitely tell them soon and show them.
So it's not a secret. You're not waiting for some big reveal, but then also like you're holding it for those that might actually be interested. I can appreciate that. I have a feeling if you showed them the videos and the pictures of what you folks are doing, it would absolutely blow their minds. So it's awesome. Listen, that was everything that I wanted to cover. I think we covered a bunch of good stuff. Was there anything I missed that we should have discussed?
I don't think so. No, I think we're super excited that you reached out to us. Like, anyone who wants to talk pinball, amazing. Anyone who's interested in our project and our family, we're like super amazing. So, really excited for the opportunity.
Look, right back at the three of you. Like, I saw it on Discord actually, where you had posted, and I was like, oh my god, you've got a dad and his kids or sons who are working on a pinball machine. Like, this is my absolute dream. If my wife is listening to this, like, Alex, like, this is what I want to see happen. All jokes aside, she's super supportive. My youngest daughter went to Expo with me last year. She's got the bug, and my oldest one, she at least knows that daddy likes it. So, but it's super cool to see the three of you working on this. I am super excited to see the machine get done. Although I'm not a big Overwatch player, I'm definitely familiar with the property. It's near and dear on Xbox. And so I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you for the awesome engagement. And I can't wait to see the machine come together. Let's get it to Expo.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We look forward to providing the updates and meeting you soon and listening to the podcast. Thank you. Thanks for all that you do.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining the podcast. Thanks for listening. And I can't wait to see what you make.